All right, enrichment. So today's page 29 in our notebooks, we have 4 different ways where we can go from the point slope form to the slope intercept form. So the first way is to use tables. Before we use tables, we have a slope of -5, a point of 2 comma 4. So when we write this out in point slope form, we have -5 times x minus 2 plus 4. Remember, we do the opposite with this guy because x is a liar, pants on fire. Now remember, x is only a liar when we plug them into the point slope form equation. So with this x and y, we just copy and paste it. Our slope tells us to subtract 5 down our table, so we got a -1 and -6. On the other side, we'll have 3 and 4 because we do not need to worry about any special numbers because there's no crazy number underneath like a fraction bar here. Okay, now we need to find slope-intercept form. In order to do that, we need to figure out the y-intercept, which is when x is at time 0. But if I look at my table here right now, this is not getting closer to time 0. So what we need to do is we need to go backwards on our table. So we're going to take this first point that we had, 2, 4, and we're going to go backwards. So above 2 will be a 1, above 1 will be a 0, above 4 will be a 9, above 9 will be a 14. Because if we go backwards on our table here, we would be adding by 5. And now we have our our y-intercept, which is 14. So now we can write slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to -5x plus 14. Okay, the slopes stay the same. It's just an x and then plus 14. Looking at the next one here, if we write our point slope form, we have y equals 3/2 times x plus 8 plus 1. And remember, your point doesn't lie on your table, so it's a -8 and a 1. But we got to be careful here because we have a fraction, and this 3 up top means we add 3 for y's. So we're going to add by 3, which gives us 4 and 7. This bottom number here tells us to add for 2's, which is our x's. So we're going to add by 2, which gives us -6, -4. And we're going to keep going because this is getting closer to time 0. So we got -2 after that, 0 after that. 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13. So now I have my y-intercept of 13. So I can write my slope-intercept form equation, y equals 3/2x plus 13. Looking at the next one, we're going to graph, right? So again, we're trying to figure out our y-intercept. So first, let's write our point slope form. Very good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to plot this point first. So when I do that, starting from my origin, if my x is a -1, I go to the left 1. If my y is 2, I go up 2. So I'm going to plot that first point. My slope is 5, but I need to make it a fraction, so I'll make it 5/1. And I make it so a fraction so I know my movements, which is going up and to the right. This is what we learned last week. So go up 5, right 1, and look at that. We have found our y-intercept because y-intercepts are always on the y-axis. So my y-intercept is 7. So when I write out the slope-intercept form, I have y equals 5x plus 7. Looking at number 4, writing the point slope form, we get y is equal to -2/3 times x minus 6 plus, Miss Rolf, minus 2. And then we're going to graph that first point again, which is 6, -2. And then we know our slope is a -2/3. Write it how you say it. Our movements are going to be down and to the right. So I go down to right 3. But that is not taking me closer to the y-axis. That is not getting me closer to figure out my y-intercept. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite moves. So instead of going down, I'm going to go up 2. Instead of going right, I'm going to go left 3. So from my orange point, go up 2, left 3. Okay, I'm getting closer to the y-axis, but I'm not quite there yet. Do it again. There we go. Now we have our y-intercept on our y-axis, which is a 2. So my slope-intercept form equation is a negative 2/3 x plus 2. All right. Looking at our third way, we're going to distribute and combine like terms. So distribute really means we're going to multiply the slope into the parentheses. To combine like terms, this means we add numbers without variables. So let's write the point-slope form of this equation. So we have a slope of 5, a point of negative 1, 2. So our point-slope form is 5x plus 1 plus 2. Let's copy that down exactly over here on the side. So we got 5x plus 1 plus 2. So we're going to multiply the slope. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is a positive 5. I didn't mess with anything else, so I'm going to bring everything else down. Then what I'm going to do is combine like terms. Well, 5 and 2 are like terms, and they're a positive 7. Nothing else changed. Everything else remained the same. So this is my slope-intercept form. It's written in the slope-intercept form that we know and love. So we'll write that here. And there's our slope-intercept form. Let's do this again with number 6. So we got a slope of negative 5, a point of 2 comma 4. So when we write this out, we got y equals negative 5 times x minus 2 plus 4. Well, this leaves me with y equals negative 5 times x minus 2 plus 4 again. Distribute. Negative 5 times x is a negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. Nothing else changed. So we bring everything else down. Combine like terms, and 10 plus 4 is 14. So now we have a slope-intercept form of y equals negative 5x plus 14. Oops, negative 5x plus 14. All right, the next way is to plug in. But before we can plug in, how do we figure out slope-intercept form? Well, slope-intercept form is written as y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept. Okay, so this is what we're going to use to plug in. So first let's write our point-slope form, which is just a repeat of number 5. So we have 5 times x plus 1 plus 2. Now again, we're going to take this and we're going to put it, we're going to plug it in here. Replace the y. So our y in this case is a 2, so we write 2 equals our slope, which is a 5, times x, which is a negative 1, plus the y-intercept. Negative 5 times 1, well, that gives us a negative 5, and that's the only thing that changed here. Now, we have to figure out what number plus negative 5 would give us 2. Well, in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to make negative 5 go to the dark side so that we get the y-intercept by itself. And when somebody goes to the dark side, they're going to this other side here. And when they go to the dark side, they change. And when they change, this in math, negative 5 becomes a positive 5. So this leaves us with 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. Now this guy moved to the dark side, so there is no longer a negative 5. And all we're left with is a y-intercept of 7. So we can write this in slope-intercept form. We got y equals our slope, 5, x, and then plus 7 is our y-intercept. Okay? Let's try another one. And this matches, right? This matches what we did in number 5 here. Got the same answer with distributing and combining like terms. Get the same answer plugging in. So Looking at number 8, point slope form, we have -5 times x minus 2 plus 4. Again, using slope intercept form, we're going to paste this over here. Our y value is 4, so we're going to replace y with a 4. Our slope here is a -5. Our x value is the number 2, and then we don't know the y-intercept, so we just write plus the y-intercept. -5 times 2 is a -10, so now we got 4 equals -10 plus the y-intercept. Well, to figure out the y-intercept, we have to make 10 go to the dark side, and when someone goes to the dark side, they change, and it becomes a positive 10. Now, if he changes, he's no longer on the other side. All we left with is the y-intercept, and then 4 plus 10 is 14. We now know our y-intercept, so we can write our slope-intercept form, which is y equals a -5x plus 14. And again, this is the same problem as number 6 here, and we got the same answer plugging in. Alright everyone, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you next time.